Hello and welcome to my video. This is Dan from Guitar from the Heart, and today I'm going to be talking about the minor 7 chord. Alright, so it's the weekend and I have my Gibson here, and we're going to be looking at the minor 7 chord because it's a really juicy sounding chord that we can use to write with and to just have fun while playing. First of all, let's get the maintenance stuff out of the way. Music theory wise, if we take the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7 from a major scale and we flatten the 3 and the 7, that will give us the formula for a minor 7 chord. That's from the perspective of whatever chord you're doing. So like, for example, let's take a look at the guitar. Let's say, for example, we're trying to do an E minor 7 chord. What we would do to find the degrees is go to the E major scale, which is if we take the, let's say starting on the 5th string, if we're here on the 7th fret, this is an E. We play through the major scale, we get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the 1 again. Those are the notes of the major scale. Now, when we're doing a minor scale, if we're doing a minor chord, a minor 7 chord, we'll take those notes, the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7 from that, and we'll flatten them. And so we would have 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, and we flatten a 7, which is basically a minor 7 scale, right? I should say a minor scale. So technically, the minor 7 chord comes from a minor scale, right? It comes from the minor scale. But when we're looking at the notes of a given chord, we always relate them. When we're getting the chord formula, we relate them to the major scale. So we say 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7 with respect to the E major scale gives us an E minor 7 chord. Hope that's not too confusing. But anyway, let's get into some variations of minor 7 chords. Why, shall we? Alright, so this is how these chords sound pretty much. There's different versions. Whoops. Right, so they have this really delicious kind of sound. And the whole point of this one chord, one video series that I'm doing is to just take individual chords and examine them and try to collect them and add them to our inventory of chords that we're familiar with so we can use them when we're doing our own guitar playing. So here we go. Let's do analysis, right? So here's a common minor 7 chord, the E minor 7. And here's how we can find the degrees. Well, basically, the 1 is going to be E, so that's the 6th string. Let me back up this camera a little. E is the root. There goes the 5th. There's the octave, right? So that's an E again. E, B, E again. The open G string here is our flat 3rd. So far we have, by playing those top 4 strings, all we really have is a minor chord, E minor. But now, when we play the D on the 3rd string, that's gonna be our flat 7, because right from what we've been looking at, there's the flat 7, and then E again. So any minor 7 chord, if you go through the degrees, you're gonna see that it has that A minor 7, right? A is the root. There's the 5th on the 2nd fret of the D string is our 5th. The G is gonna be the flat 7. Then we have the C, which is our flat 3. And then E is our 5th. So it works like that for every minor 7 chord. Let's take a look at different minor 7 chords across the neck. And here I'm going to get in closer. Here's an E minor 7 chord. Again, this is how we fret it. Open E, 2nd fret, 1st finger on the A string. Your middle finger comes down on the 2nd fret of the D string. Then you play the G open. Then you play with your pinky, or you can use your ring finger to play the D on the 3rd fret of the B string, and then you play the E open. So I typically play it with my pinky like so. Trying to get a good angle for you here. But you could also play it like this. And I would switch up depending on what song I'm playing. For the minor 7, you have this shape, which is for A minor 7, you could play with 2 fingers, your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, and your index finger playing the 1st note of the B string here, which is a C, the 1st fret. And you just play the first skip the low E string and play the 5 strings. Okay, and you can move this shape up. So like if you imagine like we played that like this and we barred the 0th fret, which I talked about in my bar chords video, but this is a trick where you can move a shape up the neck depending on how it's fretted in an open position. Here we can take this shape and move it up, and we'll basically have the shape for different minor 7 chords. So say if we wanted to play a C minor 7, we could play the C on the 5th string, bar it, and then we would play so like this, the 3rd note with the index finger on A string, 3rd fret, 5th fret of the 4th string with the ring finger, play the 3rd fret with the bar, right? The 3rd fret of the G string. Then we come down with our middle finger on the 4th fret of the B string, and then we're barring the E string. the high E string to get that last note. And you can move this shape around to get different A rooted, A string, 5th string rooted minor 7 bar chords. To get a minor 7 chord on the 6th string, we can essentially just play a minor bar chord, which is like if you take the E minor chord and imagine you have the bar again on a 0th fret, you would play it like so. Then you can move that shape up. So a bar across all 6 strings, and then 2 frets up, you just fret 2 frets away on the 5th and 4th string. You fret those 2 notes and bar the rest. To turn this into a minor 7 chord, we just pick up our pinky. So it's just like a power chord, right? Like just a power chord, but then we're barring the whole thing. And that gives us a minor 7 chord on the 6th string root. Alright, so that's the minor 7 chord. We looked at the theory for how to make one. We looked at some chords, actual chords, and proved that they're minor 7 chords. And you can do the reverse to find additional minor 7 chords. Maybe starting on the root of the 4th string, for example, right? If the root's on the 4th string, or even inversions and whatnot. And you use the theory just as a guideline to prove what a chord is or to find that chord in different places. But these are the common uses of these chords. 6th string root, 5th string root, and the open chords. So get to practicing them, play them, use them in your songwriting because they're cool chords. Anyway, that's all I got for today. Thanks for hanging out with me and watching, and play the guitar from the heart and have fun with that. I'll see you in the next video.